Hello again, everyone. It's been a very dramatic time the last month for me, and usually I start these things very upbeat and all that type of stuff, but to kind of level things off here because we've got a lot of stuff to talk about and get into, and it's a very complicated length of a story here, but I'll try to make it as succinct as possible. But main thing was the fact that while I was attempting to get all the stuff done for the Miami Vice video, which has a bunch of other things to talk about as well, I ended up having a bit of a health issue. And I had high blood sugar because I ended up being diagnosed with being type 2 diabetic. Brand new type of thing, all that type of stuff, obviously. But the fact of the matter is that on Christmas Day, I started feeling extremely thirsty and going to the bathroom very frequently. And then several days passed, then started affecting my vision. And then eventually we got to get myself into a hospital, and I had to go to an ER, and I got to get admitted for 2 days to drive the blood sugar down and all that type of stuff. And basically that's what I've been kind of dealing with for the last month, just trying to adapt to this because it affects everything. I have to change what I eat and how I function, all these different things, and it's been kind of a struggle trying to get things to work the right ways. And obviously doing insulin injections to kind of make sure everything keeps going down, which has been progressively improving, at least in the morning when I'm fasting and take my meter test or whatnot on that. It's been gradually improving, so things are heading in the right direction there. But there's a lot of stuff I have to get doing and all that type of stuff, but on the basic front of things, I was in the hospital for 2 days, and that was a very harrowing experience to a certain degree, and I got a lot of love and support from a lot of people out there all across the social medias, from family and friends, and you guys following me here. I actually thoroughly, deeply appreciate because I absolutely needed every piece of just goodwill and reassurance possible to get going, and so it's just like it's a day-by-day type of thing that I'm dealing with, and it does affect my energy levels because obviously I'm not eating sugary things, so that kind of doesn't give me that kind of like jolt and stuff like that. And the caffeinated soda just doesn't quite taste the right way to me anymore, so I'm taking once a day I'm taking this caffeine pill that does help kind of bring me back up to my usual cognitive sense, but there's still energy levels and stuff like that I have to manage and deal with, so that's going to affect certain things around here. Some days I'm probably not going to feel the absolute best to deal with things in terms of like shooting video or editing stuff. So just got to find the right things to eat and deal with things and get some exercise going, which is near impossible when it's like frickin' 10 degrees at best outside sometimes. So I can't really do anything outside. I got to figure other things out. So it's a complicated process. But basically saying that I am improving on the situation. I got things going with doctors and other appointment stuff. I'm moving things forward and dealing with the situation. So that's what's been preoccupying things for the last month, and that's why certain things got heavily delayed. Because obviously once I got out, I didn't quite feel up to doing a lot of different things. I still had to get back to work and actually do my job and earn a living and stuff like that. So it took a while to get back up to editing and stuff like that. And Steve and I did some commentary recordings, which were pretty all right. So we're getting all the things aligned properly with myself and my family and all these different things. We're all kind of moving forward as a team to get this stuff addressed and on track and all the type of stuff. So it's just a process. That's all really it is, and it's just one day at a time type of thing. See where the day takes me, how I feel, what I can accomplish in the day, and not overexert myself, and so on and so forth. So there's various linking factors in dealing with certain things that affects the energy levels of the day. So that's the main thing that impacts the channel there and all that type of stuff. So really, if guys feel any kind of weird stuff that's just not feeling right, just get yourself checked out somehow, because, I mean, if I didn't get into an ER at a certain point in time, things would have gone in a really bad direction, and I can't even think of getting there. So do something. If something doesn't feel right, do something about it. I implore you, really much do that. So we got all the stuff on that front, and I'll slip in okay, commentaries are an easy thing for me to cover. We did The Running Man. We're coming out with 48 Hours this weekend, me and Steve. And we have some stuff planned for February. Now, Steve came up with something pretty dog awful to do for Valentine's Day. And it's like, okay, yeah, we haven't done anything like fucking just wretchedly awful in a long time. Like, really just like sourpuss type of shit, you know? So, we put something together. I'm going to leave it a little bit of a surprise here, but we do have something planned for Valentine's Day. That will be something that we have discussed a time or two on the channel here that we just think is really fucking bad. Probably be able to put the pieces together yourself if you're clued in and stuff like that, regardless of that. But after that, we've got an upswing because Steve is within 100 pages of finishing Stephen King's novel of Christine. Now, I already had the regular Blu-ray of the film from John Carpenter, but I ordered the 4K edition, which will be here early next week, so that'd be perfect planning because he's about to finish the book, obviously. Then he's going to rewatch the film because he hasn't watched it in eons. So he'll be entirely 100% fresh, and I watched the film about 7 months ago when I was editing the John Carpenter's Vampires review. So I was pretty fresh on it, and it's also like, man, I don't watch this film nearly enough because it really is damn good. But it's going to be really interesting getting that discussion going on because it is a lot of changes, I know, from the novel to the film. And now they're actually doing another adaptation helmed by Brian Fuller, who was the executive producer, the showrunner on like Hannibal, a whole bunch of other stuff. So it's like this guy, I know he can do great stuff, but he is adhering much closer to the novel. So we'll see how that works. But we are getting that up for February. So once he finishes the book, rewatches the film, and I've got the 4K in my hands, we'll be scheduling out a recording date. So we got some stuff planned very much for the next month, so you'll be seeing a lot of stuff soon. In terms of the Miami Vice video, now this was saying that took like a month and a half, partially because the health issue slowed things down for a good maybe about 2 weeks or so. A little more than that. Either way, so that slowed it down, but now it's been released. I had problems up the ass with the stupid copyright claim system because I uploaded the damn thing when it was going to Patreon, and it got snagged by the Content ID, so they fucked me over on that thing. So I was like, okay, I'll go when I get home. I do some minor edits on the damn thing, re-upload the fucking hour-long video, which takes like a fucking hour and a half to 2 hours, and then 18 hours after I upload the thing, it hits it again. So like, what the fuck? Or something. Whatever the case was. So just like, what the fuck? So like, okay, now I gotta delete it again and re-edit it and re-upload it yet again. And then once it gets released, once you guys saw it for like a day or a half or so, they slapped a manual claim on the damn thing, blocking the video. Now, currently the thing is viewable because I did put a dispute in, which eventually allowed it to become viewable, but the claim is still on, and I'm not earning any monetization from it whatsoever. It's turned off. So they have 30 days to respond to my dispute against their claim, so this thing could sit here for the next 29 days, and they could decide, hey, fuck you. And then after that, I would have to go through the appeals process, which I haven't done in years because I don't trust the goddamn system anymore. But on this one, I'm going to have to do that because I ain't wasting a month and a half of work on this major video for nothing. But by then, fuck all, who knows what's going to be left of the fucking ad revenue anyway, because since I haven't put anything out aside from a couple of commentaries in the last month and a half, ad revenue's down on the channel for the month. So I don't really like to talk about that type of stuff. It's not really super relevant to you guys, but in terms of how things are affecting me on an emotional level, on a stress level, it's really affecting me. It was affecting me the other day. It was really frustrating the hell out of me, and I was starting to get pissed off, and I had to take a moment and try to decompress myself and all that type of stuff. So it's just more than I need right now. After all the other stuff I already talked about, I don't need this. It's horseshit from Universal. They employ this company called Vobel, who were some other company before that. They absorbed them, and now they're still doing the same bullshit that they just kind of maliciously go after people on, like, stuff that's clearly fair use, but they'll just go after it anyway. They'll maliciously, doggedly go after the damn thing. And they did this same stuff with my Born Identity review that I did like a year and a half ago, where, again, I had another kind of health crisis there where I had that bout of insomnia for a couple of days, and it kind of threw me completely off. So it was this weird bizarre synergy type of thing in that regard, but they did that whole thing with the Boring Identity thing where it's like once it went live, they blocked the damn thing and went through the freaking dispute process, and then they rejected the whole thing, and now the thing never earned any, has been completely removed from monetization ever since. So it's like, I'm not doing that with Vice. I'm not doing it with this. Clearly, any of you have watched the damn thing, and again, it is viewable. Again, you can go watch it, no problem. I just don't earn anything off it right now. But obviously, anyone who's watching at least sees the length of the video on your feed. It's a lot of goddamn work. I did so much research on the whole thing. I watched this different cuts of the film multiple times, and just like it's just a major. It was just too much of my life put into that video for me to give up on it. I'm going all the way with this thing because it's just, I can't take it. I can't just let this go. So I've had that in process. I had someone who said they were going to look into a contact with Universal about releasing it. Nothing's happened on that front. So I'm just not happy. I'm not happy about it whatsoever, goddamn ever. So there's nothing I can do about it now. I just got to sit here and wait. So like I said, they can wait until the middle of next month, and I can't do shit about it, and fuck all. So I'm not going to go on anymore about that. It's just like it was a big piece of something in my life to get done that I actually put on hold for almost 2 years. I was going to do this back in like the beginning of 2020. And then everything in the world kind of took a darker shade to everything. I didn't feel like doing a film like this was a good piece of work for me at the time in terms of the mood. And so I just kept pushing it off. And then the Boring Identity thing happened where it's like, okay, I'm not going to do anything else from Universal. And then I kind of went back on that and all this other shit. So it's just been a fucking pain in the ass mess, and I don't like it. I'm not happy, and I got to move on from this. So I got to get moving on the next thing, which is probably going to be a retro video series because it's been like 7 months. And I need something simple and easy to get through, so I'm probably going to end up doing the extended cut of Ransom. Because basically all I have to do is I just have to watch the Laserdisc version of the whole thing, which has the extended cut, do a comparison about what's been added and all these different things and which one I feel is a better version and a little bit of home video history. It's going to be it's a lot easier. I don't have to do a ton of research. It's not going to be a super heavy edit type of thing. I think I can handle it. So I just kind of ease myself back into things a little bit here and just kind of sit on my stool doing the video too. I don't have to stand up like I do for the video reviews and everything like that. So retro video series, I sit on my stool doing that thing with the setup I have and everything. So regardless of that, so that will happen. And there's a few things on regards of video review, Forever Cinematic Reviews. Sorry, I'm still a little tired here. I haven't taken the caffeine pill yet today. But I got some other stuff on the stack here that'll give me a little extra something to talk about in that regard here. But I'll just jump right into it, I guess. So the first thing I'll cover here is that after I got back home and everything like that, it's like a couple days went by. I was like, I just need to get something to make me feel better. And I decided to get the 4K edition of Transformers the movie, the Steelbook edition. Now this Steelbook looks really wonderful. I just hope you can pick up some of this sort of spot gloss type of stuff here on the, show the glare here on this type of thing and see if you can pick any of that up with Galvatron and Rodimus on the front and everything. Man, this thing is really good. Hold on. Don't screw anything up here, but it's a real nice package here and all that type of stuff. Really great artist. I think his name is Matt Ferguson. I've been following him on social medias for quite some time now. Fabulous stuff he's done for so many things. I think he did a lot of the John Carpenter stuff for the UK releases, stuff like that. So he's done a really fabulous job overall, just pumping out some great artwork on this type of stuff. So I said, obviously, the day I got it, I sat down and watched it. It's like I really was impressed. Because they didn't take the same transfer they did 5 years ago. They kind of went back, redid the whole thing because they got it much clearer, The black levels are much more solid than they were on the previous Blu-ray release, where I always had a problem with it. They felt a little elevated. This one feels much stronger on the black levels. Obviously, the colors are very sharp and vibrant, all the type of stuff. So I really thought it looked really, really good. Obviously, it's like something from '86 or whatnot, cell animation. It's not going to be pinpoint sharp in a lot of places, but compared to what they had before, it does just kind of clears up the entire picture overall, just like whatever they did really just enhanced things overall. And I think it's the same 5.1 mix they had before, but it was just very, very lively, and I thought it was very good. Obviously, they put the widescreen edition only on the 4K and put the regular remastered Blu-ray with the 4x3 version, so not everyone's sort of ideal situation on that, but I saw the thing in the theater in '86, so the original way I saw it is the widescreen edition. So that's what I'm accustomed to, and that's what I like, and I got no problems with that. Other people would. But it also comes with these sort of nice frames and whatnot, these little pieces of artwork from the film, little cell animation type of things that look really nice. Kind of just nice, thick, standard matte cardboard type of cardstock type of thing, but it's a nice extra little piece of something in there. Throw a little something extra. I know on the Shout Factory site you can get with like some big lithograph type of thing, but I grabbed this off of Amazon I think it was Amazon. They had it for like $16 or $17.99. So I was like, yeah, sure, no problem whatsoever. I had my eye on it for quite some time, and of course it's got the sort of backing card you can pull off on this thing. Sometimes I kind of try to hold on to those types of things, everything. So nice and cool, everything. And when I was starting up on the Vice video, I started eyeing something here, and there's only one Michael Mann film out on 4K, and that ends up being Collateral. Now, I do find something kind of weird with this sort of design here, because you got the 4K thing on the case, and they put the actual 4K banner on here. It felt very uncommonly redundant. I haven't seen that happen before. It seems like someone did something weird on the graphic end of things on that regard. It looks strange to me. But this is the only one that's come out in 4K so far. Obviously, we've had a lot of rumors about Heat coming to 4K. It's been kind of a start and stall type of thing going on. Nothing else has been stirring up about 4Ks on like a Thief or Manhunter or Mohicans, anything. So I decided to grab this up just for the hell of it, in a way, because a lot of people are saying, like, even though a lot of the film was shot 1080p on digital cameras, and they did some 35mm stuff, it was finished at like 2K resolution off of like main like 1080p master or whatnot. So I wouldn't think there'd be much to gain from it, but a lot of people are saying like it resolves a lot of the digital noise better, and there's not as much a compression issue in that regard. So it does help a little bit. I didn't get to actually sit down and watch it terribly much, because I started having, again, problems with the goddamn Dolby Vision. I don't know what, I think it's just a software goddamn thing, because I think it has something to do with something on the software end of things, because I've got 8K cables with super high bandwidth. It's not that. I think it's just some kind of firmware type of thing they've got to update on my Sony. Everything I got over here is Sony. So it all communicates with everything. Everything's compatible completely. So there's got to be something that Sony's got to update with the TV or something like that, and drop a software update or something like that to just make it more compatible, because keep getting these like weird green glitches and flashes, stuff like that. It's like, I thought it was like some hardware issue. It's just the Dolby Vision. So I'm sticking with HDR10 at this point in time, because even though first couple 4K discs I was watching on this setup had no problems with Dolby Vision with the Scream Factory Halloween sets or anything like that, but as I got progressively further in the whole thing, I just started getting problems on top of problems. So it's like I'm not even turning on the Dolby Vision anymore. So that's kind of unfortunate, but until I hear something more about the situation that's been kind of improved, I got to steer clear of that, especially if we're watching the commentary. And I got a Dolby Vision thing in the screen, so I was going wacko. I was like, that's going to screw things up really bad. So, most of the stuff, the few things we've done because we did 4K for a Home Alone that had HDR10, I think. Sony pitches up for Dolby Atmos, but they don't do Dolby Vision. They stick with HDR10 on their disc. So the Gracine one will also be HDR10 anyway. So, but the fact of the matter is, Collateral is the only Michael Mann film that's out on 4K, and I'm just like, what? There's a lot of holdups on the regard here, because Mann's a little overly hands-on in a certain way. I think it was maybe like Kino Lorber or whatnot. It was like they said they'd be excited to get like Manhunter or something like that, but they felt like Michael Mann is very, very picky in a certain way, very, very finicky. He's very, very heavily, deeply involved in when you do these transfers and all these different things. So they are a little twitchy on the entire idea of it. So I don't know, here and there, everything, everywhere like that. So hopefully stuff will start dropping. I heard somewhere that he got picked back up by Fox Disney because it's owned by Regency, and they kind of had the distribution deal lapse. Someone said they re-upped it, so we'll see what happens. But that thing's got to come out eventually. Because I was watching that Director's Definitive Edition one with the remaster. I think like it needs to look a little bit better. It needs that 4K treatment. It needs a 100 gigabyte disc and a good solid HDR treatment to get the absolute most out of this fabulous film. So hoping, because he's got the entire novel he's putting out in August. That's a kind of a sequel and a prequel to Heat. Stuff that happened before and stuff that happened after, kind of telling parallel stories. So it's coming out as just a novel. There's no film or anything announced about the whole thing. He just decided to write a novel to follow up on the stories. So that's interesting. I don't know, here and there and everywhere. But regardless of that, gotta get some more water in here. Something else I got this week. I think it was this week. Everything seems so stretched out lately. I can't keep track of what the date is anymore. But I decided to. I was ordering something else from. I was ordering something else from Amazon, and I was like, I'll just throw this son of a bitch in here. I got the 2-pack of the Crocodile Dundee films because I've had the DVDs for about a decade now. And it's like, I really want to watch these again. I want to watch them in the best quality that's available. So I think it was about $12, $13 for the two of them, which is a good solid price. I got no problem with that. I put out the 3-pack with the one with set in Los Angeles. That one's about an extra $10. So I was like, I don't need that. I never saw that one, so I'll stick with these two. It's like, these are fun movies. I last time, again, I haven't watched them in about a decade, but it's like they were just really fun films that still, I felt like they were still very entertaining and still held up very well. So I'm looking forward to watching these again. So I'll check it out soon. But the last thing I have over here comes with a recommendation for another channel here on YouTube called Freshly Pressed Media, who Adam there, I believe his name is. He does 4K Blu-ray reviews. And I was looking around because like Blu-ray.com didn't have a review of this, and a few other places really didn't have much to talk about or anything like that. So I was like, I'm trying to find someone who has a certain approach to the entire thing, a certain way to break it down, and kind of give me a certain comparison about what the previous releases were like, and this one is. So I got better context for everything. So, and I came across one channel called Freshly Tapped Media, and I think it's Adam there who does these things, and he just has a very polished presentation of everything. He's only been doing it for about 7 months or so. But I was really struck by like this guy's got a really solid piece of production value. It's well shot, well lit, well mic'd. He's got a very solid, concise format, how he breaks down the specs, breaks down each aspect of the video and the audio, the extras, stuff like that. Shows screen comparisons. He compares things back to previous releases. He's very, very good at this stuff. I've been watching a lot of his reviews. I'm very, very pleased with how he breaks things down and conveys it to everyone in the videos. It's like, he doesn't have a lot of subscribers because obviously he's only been going at it for a couple of months, but I wanted to give that recommendation because I think he's really damn good at this. And I really think he really deserves a lot more attention. So you guys, if you're looking for 4K video reviews here on YouTube, go check him out. He's really good. I just like his style, his presentation, all this type of stuff. I think it's really, really good. So what I'm talking about here is that I ended up getting, before all the really bad stuff started happening a month ago, I got the Underworld 4K box set. So high class cinema here, but comes with a nice kind of sturdy J card on this whole thing with all the specs and everything on the back and everything. Sony does not remaster the standard Blu-rays on any of their 4K releases, so these are all just the regular ones that have been out for a long time, but obviously they put more effort into the 4Ks. So Blood Wars, the last one that came out, is the only one that's pure native 4K. Everything else is a 2K upscale, but as I was watching Adam's review there and stuff like that, he just showed they did go through a certain process to add more to it, get more detail out of those 2K masters and stuff like that. They really went an extra mile. They didn't go crazy with the HDR. They remained pretty restrained on the whole thing, but because obviously the Underworld films are pretty monochromatic, as anyone probably knows. They're pretty much kind of like a blue wash with some muted tones here and there, and so you're not going to get like super poppy HDR type of stuff. Maybe it's going to affect like the contrast and a couple of the highlights here and there. So it's the interesting thing that it's a really well put together set. I mean, all these have their own key cases and their slip covers. So obviously, all they have to do if they ever want to release these separately is just like slap a barcode on the back and put it out there in a shrink wrap. So that's kind of a smart way of going about it. So the only one I think has new features on it, I believe, possibly, I think so, is the first film. Not too much, but the original 4K release only had the theatrical edition. This time they put both versions on the disc, the unrated version and the theatrical cut, R-rated one. And they put in alternate flashbacks. Now, this is a very interesting thing I found out a couple of years ago researching the entire film. That after Underworld Rise of the Lycans, which was the prequel, where they kind of redid a couple of sequences that were kind of told in the first film as flashbacks. Now, they took the footage from Rise of the Lycans and reinserted it into the first film, replacing the original flashback sequences. Now, some people have objections to this whole thing, but it's been the version that's been out on streaming services for a very long time. Now, what they did here is that they still maintained that version. Alternate flashbacks in 4K HDR is the original flashbacks they had back in 2003. So these are the pre-Rise of the Lycans re-edited versions. So kind of the interesting thing on that regard. But they at least gave it a 4K HDR treatment, but I don't think they actually give you an option to watch one cut or the other, kind of insert one version of the flashbacks or anything. It's just a separate featurette there. So kind of a thing on that regard and so on and so forth. But they've got all the regular bonus features for everything like that. I still have some of the old DVDs that or whatnot, because when they released the unrated version of the first film, they had this like extra bonus disc, kind of promote Evolution at the time, Underworld Evolution, which I still have, which has additional interviews, stuff like that. So I still have that back there because I've been kind of stirring around for like years now. How do I want to go about approaching this franchise in doing reviews? Because it's not a great franchise. It's kind of on the mediocre end of things, but each film has its own strengths and weaknesses. Like, certain things from the first film get improved upon. Certain things that weren't all that great in the first film kind of get improved upon in the second film, but they kind of lose a certain luster in a certain way in terms of the interwoven storylines and the complexity of the plot, stuff like that. So there's all these different things. One film to the next has strengths and weaknesses that kind of vary from each film. So I once tried doing a franchise retrospective one, like I got 2014 or something like that. That didn't work out. A year or two later, I decided like, maybe I'll try just doing the first film. That didn't end up panning out. So it's always been kind of a start and stop type of thing. It's like I kind of think I want to do it, then I kind of like back off from it here and there. So I just kind of got a little bit of a inkling towards it and stuff like that. So it's on the list. I'm not saying it's coming right away, but it's, I'm at least probably going to do like the first film, maybe the second film, and see. I wouldn't go all the way through them. I wouldn't go all the way through all 5 films, but just a little taste into the entire thing for some videos that I'll get to eventually. But that's really all I got for this point in time. So, like, retro video series is the one I'll be trying to get up on this weekend and see where things go from there. But that's all it is. So I'm just trying to manage things as best I can right now. Obviously, continue my hydration levels, all that type of stuff. So that's all I got for you this time, guys. The kind of unaccustomed shave I have right now is that I was having such bad time managing my facial hair in the last couple of weeks. So I decided I got to clean shave this, start over, and so I'm just kind of growing the beard stubble back in right now. It'll be back to normal by the time I do the retro video series, all that type of stuff. So, guys, thank you so much for all your support and your fantastic patience and everything, and it's just wonderful. So, thanks so much, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.